All right, so I am on a roll this evening. Heather here with Underwater Panther. So I am going to make this its own video. I am going to be comparing Sagittarius and Aquarius through my three axes that I've been running all of the archetypes through. So just a super brief overview. Now that my key card is all wild. Okay, so I'm running the archetypes through three axes. So the first axis is the masculine through the feminine overall for the archetype, the moral load bearing ranking, and the inner and outer masculine and feminine quadrants within the archetype's nervous system, talking about containment under pressure. So I am not deep diving into that. You can check out my prior videos. All right, so I am going to bring up Aquarius and Sagittarius's key cards. I think I actually exited. Where is Sagittarius? I don't know why. I must have exited the actual key card out, and now my computer's being silly. So give me one moment. Make sure I've got everything I need pulled up, which I did, but for some reason I minimized it or did something with it. Give me one moment. Sorry. All right, now we got Sagittarius brought back up. Okay. So I'm going to move Aquarius down. There we go. So I made these key cards 8 or 9 years ago. You're looking at the ego through 4 quadrants. Astrologically, you've got the planetary imprint. Psychologically, you have the cognitive functions. I'm talking about overall masculine and feminine for the archetype, as well as inner and outer masculine and feminine through the quadrants. So anyway, that is the most depth that I'm breaking that down in right now. So I didn't create an introduction. I want to get this video out. All right, and I don't have my pillow where I want it. Okay. Now we are comparing Aquarius, INTJ, Sagittarius, ISTP. All right, so Sagittarius does not trust perception. So it tests reality. So you've got SE parent and NI child, introverted intuition going on here. So Sagittarius does not trust perception. It tests reality. It moves, it engages, it verifies through experience. It learns by doing and corrects through impact. So if you want a super in-depth breakdown of Sagittarius through my system, check out my prior videos. I have, I don't know how long, 2.5 hours explaining Sagittarius or the ISTP in depth through my system. So Aquarius does not trust reality itself. So it maps. It steps back, it analyzes, it verifies through structure. It learns by understanding and corrects through refinement. Sagittarius finds truth through motion. Aquarius finds truth through pattern. Sagittarius resolves after action. Aquarius resolves before action. Let me pull up. Why are my notes on my TV and not my computer? All right. Real quick briefing. I see, where is this? All right, so Sagittarius is number 5 on my most masculine ranking, and Aquarius is number 3 masculine. So overall, Aquarius is more masculine than Sagittarius. I've broken that down in their own videos. If you want to understand why, check those videos out. And then moral load ranking, Aquarius or Sagittarius is number 10. So they are low moral load bearers, as well as Aquarius, which they are number 11 in my ranking order. So that is why I'm comparing Sagittarius and Aquarius right now, because they are both very masculine, but they do not hold moral weight in the normal sense. So All right, so Sagittarius resolves after action, Aquarius resolves before action. And because of that, they often misread each other. Sagittarius sees Aquarius as overthinking, disconnected, and slow to engage. Aquarius sees Sagittarius as premature, reactive, and too willing to act without fully understanding. So that is the SE and introverted intuition. So extroverted sensing and introverted intuition axes. We're really going to hammer that in the differences between Sag and Aquarius. You have SE inferior for Aquarius and SE parent for Sagittarius. So, all right. So Aquarius and Sagittarius sits next to each other in the system, number 10 and number 11, but they are not similar archetypes. They are opposites in process, even though they are aligned in intention. Both of them are oriented towards truth, but both of them reject instability. Both of them refuse to anchor themselves to something that does not hold under pressure. Both of them have freedom issues, if I may say so myself. But where Sagittarius moves through reality to find truth, Aquarius steps outside of reality to understand it. And that single difference creates completely different nervous system behavior, different relational dynamics, and different forms of distortion. Sagittarius asks what survives contact with reality. Aquarius asks what system explains reality. Sagittarius trusts what holds after impact. Aquarius trusts what makes sense before impact. All right, so Sagittarius and Aquarius both seek truth, but they distort in opposite directions. Sagittarius moves too early, Aquarius defines too early. So Aquarius risk understanding incomplete reality. Sagittarius says, oh, so Sagittarius's risk is acting on incomplete understanding. Aquarius's risk is understanding incomplete reality. Sagittarius says, I'll figure it out by moving. Aquarius says, I'll figure it out before moving. And both create error just in opposite directions. So, relational experience. So, when Sagittarius meets Aquarius, Sagittarius feels you're overthinking this, just move, you're stuck in your head. Aquarius feels you're moving too fast, you don't understand what you're doing, you're creating unnecessary consequences. They are both trying to correct the other's distortion, but they don't realize they are opposite imbalances of the same axis. All right. So, healthy integration. Sagittarius teaches Aquarius truth must be tested in reality. Aquarius teaches Sagittarius truth must be structured before it's acted on. So, the integrated system becomes see, understand, verify, and then act. Sagittarius chases truth through experience. Aquarius stabilizes truth through understanding. Sagittarius risk being wrong by moving too soon. Aquarius risk being wrong by concluding too soon. Sagittarius says, let me see if this holds. Aquarius says, let me decide if this makes sense. And it's hilarious that Sagittarius's quotation is I see. Aquarius's quotation is I know. Very fascinating. Both Aquarius and Sagittarius are built in response to instability, not emotional instability alone, but structural instability. Environments where what is presented does not fully hold, where what is said does not match what is real, where perception cannot be trusted at face value. Sagittarius responds by testing reality directly. Aquarius responds by stepping outside of it. One says, I will find out by pushing against it. The other says, I will find out by understanding what produces it. So, overall masculinity, direction of force. Sagittarius and Aquarius are both masculine oriented systems. So overall masculine, number 3 Aquarius, number 5 Sagittarius, but their masculinity expresses in fundamentally different ways. So we're talking about overall, we're not getting into the inner and outer masculine and feminine yet. Sagittarius sits slightly lower than Aquarius in my ranking system because its masculinity is direction through movement, while Aquarius sits higher because its masculinity is direction through structure. Sagittarius stabilizes itself by moving towards truth. It does not need to fully understand something before engaging with it. It trusts that through action, resistance will reveal what is real. Its masculinity is adaptive and responsive. It moves first and refines later. Its direction comes from experience. Aquarius, on the other hand, stabilizes itself through internal coherence. It does not move until the system makes sense. So it's really fascinating as both of these archetypes are introverted. When you get to Capricorn or the ISTJ, so that is actually no number 9. Sagittarius, what's number 8? No, they're more extroverted. So number 9 is where it starts in the zodiac of the introverted personality types. Introverted overall would be Sagittarius, number 9, 10, Capricorn, ISTJ, 11, Aquarius, INTJ, and number 12, Pisces or the INFJ. So these archetypes are actually introverted. They need to recharge their darn batteries. They have a lot more internal processing, reflecting, thinking than the extroverted archetypes. So this can throw you off as well. All right. So Aquarius, on the other hand, stabilizes itself through internal coherence. So Sagittarius, they have a lot of energy physically as well as mentally. Aquarius, on the other hand, has less physical energy overall, but are higher in their mental energy. So fascinating. Understanding how overall masculinity works through different archetypes because people blanket statement masculinity and it's just not what they think it is. All right, so Aquarius does not move until the system makes sense. Its masculinity is not expressed through force or action, but through the ability to define and structure reality at a higher level. It does not need to test as much because it believes it can see the pattern before the test is required. Aquarius's direction comes from understanding, mental energy. So while Sagittarius says, I will find truth by engaging, a lot more physical energy, Aquarius says, I will find truth by mapping. And because Aquarius defines before it acts, its masculinity appears more controlled, more contained, and more structurally dominant, even though it may be slower to move externally. All right, so moral load, how they both handle it. All right, I need a water break. What am I at? 13 minutes? All right, so this is going to be a shorter video. I just needed to get it out. As for some reason, my screen just, I don't know why it's so dark in here all of a sudden. All right, so anyways. Okay, so moral load, how they handle moral weight. Sorry, my screen just went dark for some reason. All right, so this is where they look similar on the surface, but are actually very different underneath. So moral load wise, Sagittarius and Aquarius are in tier 4. Trying to move this above here. Still not working. There we go. All right, so if you look in the moral load bearing portion, Sagittarius and Aquarius are tier 4 moral load bearers. So they are motion nervous system archetypes. They move moral load through motion or systems. All right, so Sagittarius sits extremely low moral load, but it achieves that through motion. It moves through experiences, extract what holds, and releases the rest. Once truth is extracted, the emotional and relational residue is no longer necessary. It does not carry moral weight because it has already converted the experience into something usable. Its nervous system resolves through action and adjustment. Aquarius also sits low in moral load, but does not but not because it moves, it resolves through understanding. I know. Once Aquarius has mapped something into a coherent system, the ambiguity is gone. The tension is gone. The emotional charge dissipates because the experience has been explained. It does not need to revisit something that already makes sense. So Sagittarius releases through movement, Aquarius releases through comprehension. Sagittarius finishes the loop externally, Aquarius finishes the loop internally. And this is why they often misread each other. Sagittarius sees Aquarius as holding back, over processing, or not engaging enough. Aquarius sees Sagittarius as unnecessary in its repetition, as if it's learning something that could have been understood without needing to go through it again. Freaking Sagittarius has to make the same mistake over and over and over and over and over. But both are resolving. They're just resolving in different locations. All right, so distortion, order, where they break. So I'm not going to break down. If you look, Sagittarius, let me just absolutely make sure I don't screw this up. Oh, duh, I have that in front of my face. I just tried to bring something up in front of my it was already in front of my face. Okay. All right, give me one moment. I'm going to break this down just really briefly. If I can scroll back up to where I need to be. All right, so I'm going to put the key card up here and probably have to move it around a little bit. So hopefully that's big enough to see. So I'm just going to keep that right there for now. All right, so Sagittarius is inner masculine. So their distortion order is inner masculine, outer masculine, inner feminine, outer feminine. So the distortion order goes in order according to psychology. Normally, I don't even want to break that down, but this does align with the psychological, them saying, you start with the hero, cognitive function, ages 1 through 12, parent 12 through 20, child function 20 to 30, 35, inferior 35 years old is when you start working on the inferior cognitive function. So this does actually align with the psychological people. All right, so then we have Aquarius. So Aquarius's distortion order is inner feminine, inner masculine, outer feminine, outer masculine. So it's represented with IM, OM, IF, and OF. So I don't think that's too hard to figure out. All right, so the distortion pattern of these two systems are almost mirror images of each other. Sagittarius distorts by moving too early. Should I leave that up there? I'm not gonna leave that up there because I can only do one at a time. All right, so that I just wanted to run that down. You can screenshot that if you want. All right, so Sagittarius distorts by moving too early. It begins with definition and action before perception and containment are complete. It analyzes, acts, and only later realizes what something meant, often after impact has already occurred. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna leave this up here and put it on. I should have done that while I was reading. All right, give me one moment. They're right beside each other, so it's really not that big of a deal. All right. Okay, so Sagittarius distorts by moving too early. It begins with definition and action before perception and containment are complete. It analyzes, acts, and only later realizes what something meant, often after impact has already occurred. Its sequence becomes define, act, realize, and then connect. So define or analyze, act, realize, and then connect. So where was I? So define with TI, act with SE, realize with NI, and connect with FE. This is why Sagittarius can appear fast, disruptive, or prematurely certain. It uses action as a way to figure things out. So then we go to Aquarius. So Aquarius distorts in the opposite direction. So we have inner feminine, inner masculine. Sagittarius, you have inner masculine, outer masculine. So Aquarius distorts in the opposite direction. It completes containment and definition internally, before connection and action have occurred. It perceives patterns with an I, structures them with TE, and finalizes understanding, FI, child, and finalizes understanding before fully engaging with the environment, SE, inferior. My computer's glitching. All right, so its sequence becomes contain, define, connect, and delay action. So contain through perceiving with an I, define with TE parent, connect with the FI child, which is internal values expressed outward through selective emotional visibility, and then delayed action through SE inferior and Pluto in fall. So it understands Aquarius uses understanding as a way to avoid premature engagement. Sagittarius says, I'll know once I've done it. Aquarius says, I already know. I don't need to do it yet. And both of those distortions come from the same place, a lack of trust in early stage perception and containment. So at their core, both systems are trying to solve for truth, but their definitions of truth are different. Sagittarius is trying to determine what holds under pressure. Its goal is not to understand everything. Its goal is to find what survives. It strips reality down through experience, through resistance, through failure, until only what is stable remains. It is not concerned with explaining reality as much as it is concerned with proving it. Aquarius is trying to understand the system that produces reality. Its goal is not to test everything. Its goal is to map it. And it's hilarious. Map out your higher potential. That's literally on my business sign back there. It wants to know the underlying structure, the pattern, the logic that explains why things happen the way they do. It is not concerned with surviving reality. It is concerned with understanding it at a level where it can predict and organize it. Sagittarius builds truth through experience. Aquarius builds truth through structure. Sagittarius asks, does this hold? Aquarius asks, why does this exist? So relational dynamics, how they experience each other. When Sagittarius and Aquarius interact, there's often immediate recognition and immediate tension at the same time. Sagittarius recognizes that Aquarius sees patterns quickly. It respects the intelligence, the ability to step back and understand something at scale, but it also feels that Aquarius skips steps, that it arrives at conclusions without testing them. That is too removed from reality to fully trust. Aquarius recognizes that Sagittarius is willing to engage, to move, to test things directly. It respects the courage, the adaptability, the ability to learn through experience, but it also sees Sagittarius as insufficient, as if it's going through cycles that could have been avoided with better initial understanding. So Sagittarius experiences Aquarius as too removed, too early in conclusion, and not grounded in lived reality. And Aquarius experiences Sagittarius as too reactive, too repetitive, and unnecessarily trial and error. But underneath that friction is alignment, because both of them are trying to eliminate falsehood. They just disagree on the method, how they actually align when integrated. When both systems are integrated, they become extremely powerful together. Sagittarius brings reality testing, Aquarius brings system accuracy. Sagittarius ensures that what is believed actually holds. Aquarius ensures that what is understood actually makes sense. Sagittarius prevents Aquarius from becoming detached from reality. Aquarius prevents Sagittarius from wasting energy through unnecessary repetition. Together, they close each other's gaps. Sagittarius grounds Aquarius, Aquarius refines Sagittarius. And when both are operating in their healthy order, they stop opposing each other and start forming a complete loop. Perceive, understand, test, and then refine. Instead of test without understanding or understand without testing. So, final close here, Sagittarius and Aquarius are not competing systems, they are complementary corrections. Sagittarius corrects reality through movement, Aquarius corrects reality through structure. Sagittarius finds truth by stripping away what fails. Aquarius finds truth by mapping what remains. And when you understand both, you stop asking which one is right and you start seeing that truth requires both, something that holds and something that explains why it does. All right, so the next video, I'm going to get into Aquarius's inner and outer masculine and feminine sequence in depth. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I had to get that out of my system. Like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.